go ahead and roll the clips.
Is Taylor Swift using her music to red pill you? In short, yes.
I have subjected myself to listening to Taylor Swift's new album, and the song Wishlist, yeah, that's trad wife propaganda.
You want the whole neighborhood looking like you, like Travis?
They're focusing on one song called Wishlist, where she talks about her life and her dreams with Travis. I want to read you the lyrics that have all of these people so triggered. I just want you, have a couple of kids, got the whole block looking like you. We tell the world to leave us the F alone, and they do. Wow. And not only is this entire song and album trad wife propaganda, it is also racist. This person says, wait, am I too woke? Yes. But why did this line feel like a dog whistle for a completely white suburban neighborhood and like low-key white supremacy coded? It is not white supremacy coded. She is saying, I love this man who happens to be white, and therefore I want to have his children. I want to have many of his children, and therefore have an entire neighborhood of little Travis Kelce's. That is not white supremacy. That is being in love with a white man, which is not a crime.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had to bust out the MAGA gear today. Okay, shout out to the MAGA AF shirt and the MAGA hat, because Taylor Swift is one of our own. The leftists are melting down because they're saying that Taylor Swift is MAGA now. The Swifties can't handle it. This is one of the most hilarious stories ever. Basically, Taylor Swift is getting married to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's MAGA. Swift supported Harris. Most people know that already. But what they don't know, or what they're not happy about apparently, is that Taylor Swift is now happy to be getting married to her husband and having babies with him. And basically she's trying to enter her soft girl era, and these people are melting down about it, calling it racist and saying that this is trad wife propaganda, and she's MAGA, and they're talking about microaggressions. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It is freaking hilarious. Take a look. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
I came across a video today of someone calling Taylor Swift's new album Republican coded because
it obviously is, and if you can't realize that, you're a victim of the media literacy crisis. If only for the song Cancelled, where she, the billionaire, paints herself as the victim of cancel culture. People rightfully pointed out the person she was dating did a racist thing. But beyond that, I mean, that's enough. That's obvious. Making, number one, that, and number two, an album about like an idealized form of like what is a typical American family, ideally, of like living in a suburb, being in a monogamous relationship, finding peace and joy, and basically just kind of being a housewife.
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further, and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Easter egg master of our generation, is not aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. And before you suggest that this was supposed to be a satirical album, I would like to remind you how she feels about this album in her own words.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
I give Taylor Swift a year and a half before she comes out as MAGA. Maybe a little less. I was forced to listen to her new album against my will as I shopped for my groceries. Thank you, HEB. Everything I heard sounded like a dog whistle. The microaggressions, I have no idea what she has against black women. The mean girl energy and the weird high school girl shtick that only a white woman in her 30s can get away with.
Taylor Swift is just coming out as MAGA with this new album. Why else would she have a song saying that she likes her friends being canceled and soaked in a scandal? That entire song is a MAGA mother's anthem. Oh, wow.
Taylor Swift's new album is MAGA coded, and she is being canceled harder than Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, that tracks. I mean, we've seen that coming for a while. Glad to have her. So you're just comfortable with her going into her bigot era?
Those are Republican virtues. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad things, but they are things that Republicans and conservatives and sometimes liberals use. And ignoring that they are used in that way in our political climate is not like a gotcha moment. It is a lack of media literacy. So yeah, Taylor Swift's new album is clearly political, right? Even if it's not intentionally so. And it is political in exactly the politics that likes to hide itself, which is conservatism. Further, doing this album, which is basically like a victory lap that is bad, While people are literally being disappeared by a Gestapo, there is a genocide going on and rising fascism in America is distasteful.
Taylor Swift finally outing herself as a racist has been in the works for about 2 years now, and I am not surprised that it finally happened. I'm saying this as someone who, up until Thursday, I'm ashamed I know, up until Thursday would have considered herself a Swiftie, although I am black, so I never really aligned with the white Swifties. But I was a fan of her music. I was still supporting her. I went to her tour. Yada yada.
Fox News is claiming Taylor Swift as their own. MAGA is claiming her as their own. Tommy Lahren on Fox News is saying she's one of us now. They're singing her praises over there. Liberal women who are still acting like there was nothing wrong with this album. Do you get it now?
You know what? The dog whistles in Taylor Swift's music have always been there. Because remember on the Tortured Poets Department when she had that cringy line about the 1830s? On Taylor Swift's album, The Tortured Poets Department, she was saying how she would go back to the 1830s, but without all the racists. Taylor said, I would go back to the 1830s, but without all the racists and get married off for the highest bid. Like, Tay, we already know you would be right up in there in the 1830s with all the racists. Let's not pretend. Like, look who you're marrying. White feminism is dangerous. Her getting on that interview and being like, yeah, what you guys talking about my name and my album, like, you're just helping me. There is something about her that is just so intolerable.
Taylor Swift is MAGA now, and that's why the album sucks.
Guys, the woman has entered a new phase of life. She's happy now. The majority of very liberal women are just not happy people. They haven't found their joy in life. A lot of them won't even allow themselves to be happy in life. A lot of them aren't even Christians, or they're Christians, but they don't really follow the Christian values. They don't read the Bible. They don't go to church. They don't believe. They don't have anything to do with Christianity. If you ask them, they might say they're Christian, but there's nothing there that actually demonstrates following the word of God or having a relationship with God at all, besides, I guess, them claiming that they do. So, of course, a lot of this stuff is not going to resonate with them, but a person who is actually one with Jesus knows that, yes, what God wants for you is to have a partner, a heterosexual partner, and to continue to populate the earth, because we're all God's children. So I'm going to go ahead and play another clip where they essentially translate this in another way.
Some people think that Taylor Swift is MAGA. Some people think that Travis Kelce is MAGA.
What I believe, and what I believe multiple people believe out there that are normal, is that there's an arc. And a lot of times with females, there's an arc. You know, you may have a bad breakup and you're like, F men, I don't believe in marriage. I'm going to get cats. Like, I'm going to be alone forever and I don't need anyone. I'm going to get a really good job. And then a hot guy walks by, looks at them, talks to them. They fall in love and they're like, oh my God, I want to have 100 of your kids. I believe a lot of women that, you know, have their hard stances on the left, just haven't met the right guy. And they haven't had that relationship that makes them think about kids, that makes them think about marriage, that makes them want. And by the way, most women, until they're raising kids, aren't really thinking about the impact on children culturally.
Right.
So I believe she is in a phase of life that is trad wife coded, that is MAGA coded. Again, she's not going to come out and make any political statements, but this album was written for millennial conservative women.
100% agreed here. Is all about where you're at in life, what your experiences are. Of course, you know, Taylor Swift is happy that she's getting married. Maybe she can stop doing so many dang concerts. Like, she was here a couple years ago and it said she was doing 4 concerts in a row. I was like, dang. Like, I didn't know. I'm not a concert expert, but to me, that seems like a lot in one singular location. But maybe she's just really popular down here. These people need to go find a hobby, go find a husband, go have some babies or something, because these women that I showed here are just freaking miserable. And to be honest with you, it comes across as pretty pathetic. Just let this woman say what she's going to say. She never came out and said that she supports Trump or MAGA. I can't believe that we've got to a point where having a family, being happy and having kids And being a stay-at-home mom, which Taylor Swift is not, but even if she wanted to be, that's considered MAGA now? How the hell do we get here? How? And what's sad about it is Taylor Swift isn't even saying that that's the route that she's going to go, but I'd imagine that as she starts preparing to actually get married, then maybe she will want to go that route. And as far as I'm concerned, that's perfectly okay. I'm happy for her. And I hope President Trump goes ahead and sends her a MAGA hat if he hasn't already. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rise channel. I'm out.
The left has constantly painted having a traditional family or having kids or getting married as negative only because it's associated with conservative Republican values. But it's never enough for the fringe left. It's never good enough.